What's up? I'm on Rohan, all that good stuff. My day's going pretty good. Hopefully yours is. You can always leave a comment on that if you wish. Now, before I get into this, I want to very specifically put something out there. I'm only talking about success as far as your business, your personal life, as far as what it is that you have learned or what it is you're trying to learn, or the effort that you've put in to what it is that you wish to achieve, whatever it may be. Now that we got that out of the way, do you have any excuses of why it is you're not achieving upon what it is you wish? Question is, why would it be that you would do this? It's only gonna sound good to you. And it doesn't matter upon what it is another may view. Only you can know such things as this. So why would it be that you would be dishonest about this? The success as far as where it is you wish to go. How do you expect to be successful if an excuse happens to show? If it is that you're making excuses, do you wish another to believe your excuses? It's only gonna sound good to you. Regardless upon how another happens to view. That skill that you're not learning, are you going to make an excuse upon why it is that you are not learning? The field that you wish to pursue, you're gonna try to make an excuse why you cannot do? That person's relationship that you have with them, you're gonna try to make an excuse about that? About what it is that you did or did not do? As far as the actions, as far as how it is that you chose to be, no matter, you're gonna make an excuse? It only sounds good to you. With that aside, or more talking about your personal growth, as far as what it is maybe you have not learned, maybe what it is that you're making an excuse why you cannot learn. What is that you may not be pursuing upon what it is you wish to do? Are you going to be honest? Or will there be an excuse that comes from you? Or about your business? You gonna make an excuse why it is not where it is it should be? In truth, What real excuse can you make? You're the one that gets the result that you do by what it is you do or make. As far as the one that, more speaking about the friend or one you wish to have associated with, more speaking upon the effort that you happen to have been put in. If it is that you tried, why would it be that you would make an excuse to try to prove that you have tried? That is what I meant. Just to clarify upon what it is I have meant. The effort that you've put in as far as the business or field you wish to be in. What excuse can you make? The fact that maybe you have chosen to hesitate? What excuse will you have about that? Will you at all? Will you not? Excuses are always best to the ones that make it. So what excuse might you be making? As far as what progress you're not making, and whatever it is that you wish to make progress in. Is it that the other person did not try? Is it that you think you're not able to do such things? What's up, man? What's up? Thanks for joining me, by the way. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In case you don't know what my subject may be. Talking about excuses. About what it is you wish to be successful in. Regardless if it's business. What it is that you wish to learn. Or the effort that yourself you put in with a relationship that you may have had. Now, I'm going to turn off my chat for now. On my intermission, I'll address anything I need to as far as that. Could it be maybe you're making excuses for what it is or why the opportunity you did not get? It was all about the state of mind that you happened to be in at that time. As far as your business and what it is, or what it is you're not learning for your personal growth. There's only one that will know if it is you put the effort in. And that person happens to be you. Of course, you're the one that chooses what it is that you do, the excuses that you might make. of why it is in that area you're not successful and no progress you happen to make. Like, I'll give you a small example. Well, from my own personal. If it was that I was not streaming as I am right now, or if it was I was not posting videos on YouTube like I do, could I make the excuse of why it is not getting upon what it is I wish to get? No, I couldn't. If it is that I wasn't pursuing to know more than what it is that I did yesterday, what excuse can I make? That'll sound good to someone else. Because I'd have to lie to myself first. Why would I do that? Why not just be honest from the first? Not speaking of anything else. Made that very clear when I first started this. So as far as your success, and whatever it is you wish to get, what excuse? Now if you want to take it to the next level, write it down. Whatever your excuse is. No matter if it's personal life, as far as what progress you have not made towards what it is you wish to learn, or something you might be working on, as far as your growth as a person and maybe understanding. If it is you have chosen to write that down. My next question is, what are you gonna do to where you can throw that away? Because if you don't, you will always contend to that. You will always return like a dog to its vomit. Never understanding why. Ask yourself, how many times? How many times have I returned to this excuse for this subject? You'll notice a small pattern there. What would happen if that excuse was not there? Would it be that you would be bold enough? Would it be that you would be brave enough? Would it be that you would be consistent enough? Would it be that you would be persistent? Would it be that you would be humble but relentless? Or would it be that you would be coy and sly, and to another about that subject you happen to try to lie? You're the only one that can make that excuse die. You wish to be successful in your business, wish to be successful in your personal life as far as your growth, yet you keep coming back to something that stops you. Looks like you need a change of mindset. Change of perception. A new state of mind in order for you to see a different view upon this time. Now, I have another thing. Remember the excuses that you made up, that you may have written down. Write down why it is you made that excuse. Write down what it is that you wish to have achieved with such excuse. Write down your reasons for such excuse. And then, finally, what kind of honor do you get by doing this? Would this, if someone else were to find out, help you be successful in that endeavor? Would it not? So my question is, why do you make the excuse upon this spot? And yet you expect success, and you wonder upon why it is that result you happen to get. Only other thing is this. How did you feel when it is this excuse you happen to have given? After all that, was it worth it? The excuse that was given. Was it? Was it not? If you've done what it is I asked you to do, have you learned anything upon this spot? Or did you make an excuse upon why it is you did not wish to do that? If you did, why would you do that? If it is, you didn't. In truth, you just made another excuse. And yet, you wonder why in these areas you do not get success. Any other excuses you wish to make about the success in your business or your personal life as far as what it is that you might not have learned? Have you taken advantage of resources? Is that yet another excuse? Have you taken advantage or have you used it properly? Is that yet another? Do you not study upon what it is you need to be in the field you wish to be? Is that yet another excuse? Do you not take the time to try to understand upon what it is that you need to? Is that yet another? Have you not taken the time to learn upon what it is you need to be successful the next time? In a situation similar? Is that yet another excuse? How many will you have? Hmm. So far, how many do you have? How many answers yes or no? Upon ones that require the answer yes or no. Do you wish to grow or do you not? Only one way you can do that. Know what it is that you might be having issues with, as far as excuses. One of the few reasons why ones do not have success is because of things like this. As far as their business or what it is they wish to learn, or why it is in that field they have not decided to go in and start to pursue. Any other excuse that maybe I have not covered? You can write them down as well. Just remember, if it is that you do not get rid of that, take responsibility and choose to do what it is you need to change that. You will always come back to that. So, do you wish to throw that away, to where you have no excuses upon this day? Change upon what it is that you need. For answering the questions. This information, you have all that you need. Or will you make an excuse about that as well? If you do, how do you expect to be successful? In whatever area you wish to be successful. What, you try to blame another? As far as these areas, how is it that you can blame another? You are the one that is responsible for learning upon what it is you wish to learn. You are the one that is responsible for the actions that you make another perceive as your business. How can you tell or say another has affected your business? As far as what it is that you have done. Stop making excuses. If it is that you wish to have things done, making excuses why it is you cannot enter your field. You have many things to learn. Do you not get the fact? If it is, oh, well, I need this. There's information you still need. And the time that you are gathering such things that you would need. Never know, you might run across the information to get what it is you need. If it were you were to only think instead of backing up and choosing not to think. Even practicing upon what it is that you might need to do, to follow, what it is another might have done. Of course, you would know that if it is that studying has been done. Of the greatest amongst in your field you wish to be in. Make an excuse that you're not willing to study some of the greatest? And you wonder why you are not showing the traits of the greatest. Is that yet another excuse? Whatever field you wish to be in, you must study. The best of the best. Cannot be compared. The 5 to 10 best in the field you wish to be in. Study such ones as this. Or do you have another excuse about this? By the way, these ones I speak of, many times they have resources amongst what it is they speak, in case it is in that field you seek to be in. either by what it is they say, what it is they convey, or maybe something they started as a resource for you upon that day. But how would it be that you would know such things, if it was you were not to study and notice such things? Cannot study and learn of that resource. If it is, you make an excuse that you will not study, so you cannot see that resource. But maybe you might make more excuses than just that. Maybe you say, there's no way I could do that. How would you know if it was that you were not actually putting a true effort in that spot? If it is that you were, for how long would it be that you were? Take a challenge that I've said many times. See what happens at the end of the allotted amount of time. 1 year, an hour per day. And then at the end of that year, choose carefully upon what it is you wish to say. Or will you make an excuse even then? Do you not have commitment or resolve to see it to the end? Is that any excuse as well? Hmm. If it is, well, might as well be used to making excuses. Good luck with telling another your excuses. Because more than likely they won't believe them any more than what it is that you believe them. Now, I'll take this even to a higher height than what it is I've already done. Now, depending, you may need a couple pages for this. Write down every excuse you've ever made about why it is that you have not been successful in what it is you wish to learn, why it is your business has not grown upon the fact of where it is you wish to be with that. Then, right after each excuse, write this: I am responsible for this. And if it is You actually wish to change that excuse. Write down this. I will no longer give this excuse. I will do what it is I need to do to change this excuse. How many have you made? Is it something that progress because of these can be made? So clearly, after that, you should very easily know what you need to change with that. Do your excuses have excuses? You know, there's easy ways to correct such things. If you do nothing to change these excuses, you will always go back to those excuses. But how does it make you feel when you do such things? Do you wish to change it? Or do you make an excuse why it is you will not change it? Any others? Why would it be that you would even want to make any others? So who would it be that would believe these? Other than the one that has made these? Would it be you only? Would it be that others would notice excuses as all these are only? You wonder why it is you've had failed attempts? Why it is you are might be confused and bewildered? Of why it is this has happened upon these attempts? Is it why? Is it why? And you wonder why it is that your posture and positioning is wrong? Hmm. Are you sure that it is wrong? according to the excuse you happen to make. Do you not understand? The result you get is the one you make. If it is upon your workbench only unfinished things because of excuses set, why do you think nothing gets finished if excuses you make? You cannot finish something you make an excuse about. So how many things? And why would you do such things? Make an excuse upon why it is you're not putting effort in? Why don't you just be honest and say you will not start or begin or finish upon what it is that you say you will do? Stop lying to yourself and the others that are around you. Like, for example, oh, I'll start after this. Do you ever start after that stipulation? More than likely, you do not. An excuse was made with that stipulation. And then, upon the time that that has been fulfilled, yet another excuse why it is you will not fulfill. You might as well just be honest. Instead of making an excuse why you have not put the effort in, just be honest. Why would you do that to yourself? Does it really sound that good when you try to tell yourself? Or does it not? Do you even believe it in this spot? So many people try to make excuses, not realizing they're missing opportunities because they only make excuses. No different. Then, something I've already said, I'll say it again. But this is what it is you do when you do such things. You take a bow, you pull the string back, you release it, but there is no arrow within that. There's nothing that follows, only a sound. Why is it you would not put an arrow in that? For the actions minus the excuse would be that. In case you do not get that, the arrow is representation of your actions. bow is representation upon what it is you have declared you will do. If you do not get that, or if it is that you declare, as soon as you declare, there must be actions that follow. Otherwise, just a big noise will be produced. Now, I've said this as well already. Now, your actions, they must be, or your arrow must be rated. If you know anything about archery, like I do, your arrow has to be rated for the amount of poundage that is behind that string. If that arrow is too weak, as far as its strength, it will either bend or it will break. Or, because of the pressure that it was not able to take, it would veer off course and not towards your target would its path make. So if you would say something and your actions do not line up with the proper weight, that is why your success is not what it is you wish. For in truth, you do not put enough actions behind what it is you would say you would do. And that is why your target was missed by you. Or do you make an excuse about that as well? Makes me wonder, how many excuses do you have that dwell? So, with these excuses, what happens to the arrow of these excuses? Hmm? Doesn't go very far, does it? Breaks almost instantly, doesn't it? Might want to, not make excuses, my friend. Hmm? If you do not get that. I feel sorry for you. And excuses you would make why it is. These things you would not change. And no success when you see. Because these things do not change. Remember all the questions I asked. Remember what it is I've told you to write down up to this point. Fairly simple what it is I just said with the excuses. So how many more will you make? Why it is in these areas you are not successful. As far as what it is you've not put effort in. So when will it be that no more excuses? Start. Or all old ones end. Will you make an excuse about that as well? Or do you even wish to have success in these areas dwell? So any other excuses that maybe you weren't willing to write down? Let me ask you this. Why would you not be willing to write it down? Is that an excuse as well? Hmm? And you wonder why in that area there is no success that happens to dwell. To take responsibility is the first step for these excuses that you give, that others get. If it is that you do not accept upon the fact it was an excuse, even if there's proof behind that, how is it that you will be capable to change that? Hmm? Do you have an excuse with that too? Hmm. I hope you don't. If you do, well, I don't think this is exactly the stream for you to watch. Of course, you've already probably made an excuse why it is you will not watch. At least by then, at least at that point, if you've already clicked away, at least you're honest that you're not willing to have success. And if it is that you have written all this down, do you wish to be able to throw that away? Gotta take responsibility and try to change it upon this day. When it is you encounter it again, make sure that you do not go back. Go back to your vomit again. Well, looks like I need to take an intermission. All that good stuff. Might be a good time for you to do so as well if you need to. Be a good time to think of comments or anything else like that. I'll take time to answer them if there are any. Also, if you like my motivational poetry that I do, it is available on all music distributors under GamingWithNac, Inspirations of a Gamer. Be wary if it is that you try to make excuses. For ones, some just notice when there's nothing but excuses. Never know if it is that they might look at you less than what it is that you could be. Or they only see someone that less is what it is they wish to be. Excuses always sound better to the ones that make it than the ones that hear. So I would say, be wary upon excuses that you wish another to hear. If it is something that is true, then that is fine, but if it is that you must tell yourself first and believe it, why would you think that any other would believe it? When you do such things as this, you may make someone think less of you when it is you do this. Instead of making it an excuse, accept responsibility without any excuse. You're the one that's responsible for what it is that has happened in your life. So why do you think someone else will accept an excuse you have made about your life? Some may not understand, for they do not understand. But when it is that you try to do such things as this, be wary doing such things. You never know the truth of what it is that actually happened within those things. Now, if it is something that, for whatever reason, maybe you've seen it differently in that season, that is different than telling something that is not true. Of course, for those ones that may think it is an excuse, but it is not, they are unable to see your perception upon this spot. And under that, they cannot tell you if it is or not. For them, they may think that it is, but in truth, you are the only one that knows for what it is. an excuse? Why would it be that you would make an excuse? Other than the fact that you wish to try to justify upon what it is that you might have done. Why not tell the truth and be the one that has won? Even if it is, they think that it is not, and it's just an excuse upon that spot. Their ability to know, that is something they have not. The access to. Well, there's only one that can know upon what it is that you say is true. Now that's in the perception that you're currently in. Not speaking of anything that when that happens to end. Only when it is at that point, they must believe upon what it is. If they do not, that is their belief. But why would you make an excuse? Why do such a thing as that? What is it that you wish to gain when it is you do that? If it is that you're honest, there will be no one that can tell you you have not been honest. Within perception or not, what happens if you do not make an excuse? Excuses always sound best to the ones that make it. But why is it? To try to explain why it is that you've done something to someone, why not just be honest? At least, to the perception that you understand, to be honest. But honest, even when it is that someone else may see it as an excuse, and cannot see it for the truth that it is. Excuses is not a good thing to do. Not only that, who does it make look bad? You, right? Why would you do such things as that? Do you wish to have a reputation such as that? That kind of thing influences upon how another happens to see you. Do you wish to have another see you as one that makes excuses instead of being honest? for what it is that you may understand? If you tell such things as it is you understand, there is no excuse that can be. Tell it as it is that you see. To do anything other than that is make an excuse. Are you sure you wish to do that? So, how many excuses have you made? By where it is that the success you wish to have been made, whatever it may be. You wonder why it is. Why it is you cannot see the success you wish. If you make an excuse, do you honestly see success, or do you not? Regardless, personal life, business, or anything else. When an excuse is made, what kind of progress can be made? Now, if it's something that another may think is an excuse, only you, within this perception, can know if it is truth. Of course, to explain it to what it is that you might understand. Even without or outside of that perception, it is still not an excuse within any perception. In order for you to make an excuse, you must first believe it, or tell yourself enough so another may believe it. Much easier to have the story completely right, instead of trying to make sure, along with another, it happens to be right. Excuses are not ways of success. Not very far with this can you get, regardless business or personal life. So why would you do that in your business and personal life? You're the one that's responsible if it is that with your double-edged knife, or possibly sword, depending on how often you use. Do you wish to have life or strife? Now, an excuse. Which of the two is that? I'm pretty sure you know the answer to that. Excuses are never good things to do. Doesn't make you look good, I can tell you that. Even if ones think that you may have done that, that is their own fault for not seeing the truth for what it is. As long as it is the truth you've told, what it is they might think such things as that. For them, that excuse that they think you made, it's because they cannot comprehend the truth that you have told. That is. Alrighty, if you happen to be bold enough, should celebrate a little bit there, because it takes a lot of courage to admit when it is that you've made an excuse. First step, how about we start trying to figure out that second? So for each of these that you might have written down, what are you going to try to do to change it? Because only you are the one that decides if it is you will change it. Will it take more than one step to do such things for the result you wish to get? Do you need to put it into little pieces so you do not get frustrated because it is too large? For little pieces are needed for what it is, the success you feel as it is needed. You're the one that has to choose such things as this. Regardless what it is. Are you willing to stick it out? For when others set it down and turn around because they make an excuse. But you rid yourself of that excuse. But how is it that you might be able to do that? The first part is the starting of doing that. It takes a lot of courage to write down what it is that you have done. That you made an excuse. But how is it that you can change it to where in your next situation it is not the same as far as the excuse you made in that situation? By accepting it for starters. Taking responsibility for what it is. And changing for what it is. Not easy to do such things as this. More than likely, most have turned away before they even got to this. Thinking that I might be accusing. Far from that. For it was merely questions. How can I accuse when it is that I have asked you questions? When it is that you are the one that is required to answer the questions. You accused yourself. In case you did not notice. Are there anything else amongst this stuff you did not notice? But sure, how is it that you start to change it? Let's find out upon what it is that you have done as far as that. As far as your excuses. On whatever you made. As far as that. Second part is to try to find out how to change it. How many steps will it be required for you to change it? For the next situation that you might see. Regardless, you were not accused by me. Questions cannot accuse. Only the answers to such things can accuse. If it was you that was required to answer, you are the one that accused yourself when it is you chose to answer. So what will it be that you do to change this? Or do you make an excuse of why you will not change this? Only you can answer the questions. Are you brave enough to answer these questions? If it is that you are not, do not forget what I kept saying. You will come back to that. If you do not change something to where you do not come back to that, only you can influence the change. I can raise questions of things you might need to change. But with your questions, you give inquiries about what it is you need to change. First thing is acknowledgement. Next, try to figure out why it is you did that. Were you happy upon the fact you did? Pay attention to the first section. Everything I asked for you to give an answer. It is in a very sequential question compared to your answer. In order, pay attention to what it is that I might have asked. Very simple at every point. I asked, what is it? Why? Did you honestly believe it? And are you happy with doing that? Now, my question is, what will you do about it? Only you can answer. Only other question. And now I ask, are you willing, or will you show an absence of willingness? First things first, if it is you refuse to answer any one of those, you are showing an absence of willingness. If it is that you did, then you are showing willingness. Next question I will ask. Will you show persistence upon what it is that you need to do to change whatever it is that was answered that you will change with this? If it is that you do not, do not wonder upon why it is you get the result you do in this spot. Your persistence, it matters, for it is your response that in truth matters. No boxer that is good does not bob and weave. With these excuses, did you try to bob and weave? But it doesn't make you a good boxer. For the end of the bell you did not reach. Of the 10th round, at that point you have never reached. Only a good boxer knows how to bob and weave. Know upon what it is. Something they need to change. In this match of life, if you wish to be successful, you must be able to bob and weave successful. By making excuses, you do not do such things. For to bob and weave, you acknowledge and you change these such things. To make an excuse, you stand there and take the punch. Lay upon the ground because you were required to take the punch. In fact, because of the fact that you made an excuse, you weren't even able to put your hands up because of that excuse. Straight in the face or wherever it was going. And you wonder why there is no success upon where it is you're going. So how's it? You could become a boxer that knows how to bob and weave. And successful you happen to be by addressing the issues that you clearly see. Do you wish to be a boxer that knows how to bob and weave? The problem is the other boxer. Or situation that you might see. To bob and weave means, you see, you take countermeasures if it is success you wish to see. Changing upon what it is that you might. That way you can last until the end of the fight. Throwing your own punches. But how is it that you do that? Acknowledging what it is you might need to change. Learning upon what it is. doing it correctly, being persistent for what it is you need to do. Thing about a boxer. That's interesting. If you pay attention. How many times do you see a champion boxer that does not throw punches back, bob and weave, and successfully stand their ground? Do not forget there is points that are counted in such things. Is there not? So how many points have you got for the excuses you have made in this spot? Doesn't help you. So why would you do such things? If it is success you wish to see. And these things that you might have made excuses. Instead of making excuses, why don't you combat against instead? Do you wish to not be called a champion? In your life, you call this? You must block, you must bob and weave. You must throw punches. These things you wish to change, and what it is that you will do, this is the bob and weave, and the punches thrown by you. And your willingness counts as this. With these excuses that you might have made, what it is that you have a chance to change this for the next encounter of this situation. It is you getting back up off the mat when it is they're counting to 10 because you have hit the mat. So will you sit there with an absence of willingness? Or will you get back up to prove upon the fact you have willingness? Now, my next question is, what will you do and not do moving forward? To make progress, you must be moving forward. Do you think excuses allow you to do such things as this? Or when you make them, you do this. How much progress do you make when you do such things? Hmm? In life, are you doing this? Can you make any progress when you're doing this? Taking steps back when it is you need to be doing this. Moving forward, not backwards. So what will you do moving forward? Or do you even wish to have success in whatever it is you call this? As far as what kind of effort you might have put in the next situation, that you have the choice to make an excuse or to put it in. For some, this statement might be true. What next will you try to do? How is it amongst these areas? Might you try to make progress in these areas? Only you can answer the questions. Will you be honest when it is you answer these questions? Now I'll ask a question. Now, if you're paying attention, I don't have my buffs on. Now, how much longer can I last if I have them on? Compared to when it is I don't. What kind of buffs do you have on? Hmm? Have you taken the time to renew your mind? Try to find things that will help you be positive all the time, regardless upon the mountain that might stand before you? Or do you cower before the mountain that stands before you? This excuse, or excuses you have made, they are a mountain for you upon this day. Will you let it stand in your way, or will you tell it with the words and actions that you say that you will not and cannot stand in my way? So, these excuses, do you think they're just little tiny excuses? How much progress have you not made? How much do you wish to make? You will very clearly see It is merely a question of, are you willing to do something? Or are you not? So moving forward, what different will you do for the next time a situation that, if it is you are bold enough to write these excuses, will you do to make that mountain move that stands before you? Are you courageous? Are you a brilliant warrior that is seclusive? Are you not? How does a brilliant, seclusive warrior bob and weave in this spot compared to one that is not? Now I'm sure you're like, how could this apply? It's fairly simple. If you're brilliant, seclusive, and a warrior, do you not find out information? Brilliant, seclusive, meaning you are one or very select and few. Warrior means there is none that can stand before you. As far as your situation, the mountain that stands before you that happens to be the situation. So how is it that you can do such things as this? Very simple. What kinds of things have you lit in? What kind of influences? Hmm? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they help you to last? Is it something that would help you to be a boxer that knows how to bob and weave? Do you search upon what it is that can help you be successful? For what it is that you put in comes out. You wonder why it is. There is no showing upon what it is you wish. How many things can reflect this? Do you properly project what it is in truth, internal, that you have already internalized inside of you? Do you project for the others outside of you to view? Is it excuses? Is it not? And how is it that you could change that upon this spot? By having the source that makes it where these things, as far as excuses, you do not make such things, and neither do you accept. So what is it that you put in? What kinds of things do you crave knowledge for? And then practically apply it and show wisdom. Upon knowledge is just knowing. Wisdom is a demonstration of that knowledge. Do you have the determination, the devotion, while it is that you are demonstrating? Or do you not? If it is that you do not, what can you do to change that upon this spot? If it is you do not know, I've already answered that, so you may know. What is it that you put in? What kinds of things do you pay attention to? What kinds of things do you put, even if you do not know, inside of you? Ones that wish to be successful, the only thing they digest is things that can help them be successful. If it is you're not digesting things that are doing or speaking of these such things, how do you expect to be able to not make excuses and results for you to get? Pay attention to what it is you let in. Your influences, your sources. Is it something that helps you to be what it is you wish to be? Or does it not? Very simple questions, very simple answers. Are you willing to give these kinds of answers? Because if it is that you do not, you are making excuses of why you do not need to, yet you do not understand why it is you're not seeing what it is you need to. Something very unique happens when it is you write something down and you see it with your own eyes. As well as other ways, like recording audio, upon how it is you feel on those days. And it's not that you think about it. Just let your body react. If it is that you're thinking about it, and not letting your body react, Are you sure you're being honest with that? If it is, you write it down and not question upon what it is you've written. Then in truth, you believe upon what it is you have written. Do you believe these excuses were good ones? Or do you not? The ones you wrote down in the first part. If it is, you are questioning them. You should have the answer on that. You honestly do not think they're good excuses. If it is, you're questioning. In case you have not caught that. Remember how I said you have to convince yourself first. If you're questioning if they were good excuses, is it not proof that you did not believe them yourself? Now the question is, there's a reason why I said this. That particular last part. What is it that you're internalizing? Is it something that makes you wish to be successful? Is it something that shows morals that are opposite of that? Is it something that has nothing to do with you being a better person? In any one of these areas, your business, your personal development, as far as your effort, then my question is, next, what do you need to get rid of? And what do you need to replace it with? Because if it is you do not do such things, you will be as a dog that goes back to your vomit with these things. So what is it that you need to replace it with? To have this success you wish to live. If it is that you do not know, what influences can help you to know? What kinds of things do you need to look up? What kind of information do you not know? Would you notice upon the fact if you did not have such things as that? Only you decide. Are you willing to make that decision and decide? Or will you make another excuse and refuse to decide? And then, very lastly, What kind of actions is it that you need to change? For this, to fulfill this wanted change. But remember, you must internalize it first, for what is inside will be the first to show upon what it is your actions show. If you cannot address what it is that you put upon the inside, the actions you show reflect what it is you believe on the inside. It is nothing more than a reflection of that. So what kind of influences will you get rid of knowing that? Is it something good? Is it something bad? Is it something that makes your little light of yours shine? Or does it stop it from it doing that? Does it amplify it beyond what it is that it can be? Because of the fact of these influences, they can be seen. Is it something that makes it brighter? Above all other things, you are the one that chooses if it is brighter. If it is, it can be seen by all that are around you, regardless of ones that might criticize, for they cannot see what it is, the light, and what it is it can be. For it is so blinding for themselves they cannot see. When it is, they look upon you. For in truth, because of this light, they cannot and will not see you right. Well, it looks like I need to take an intermission. What's up? I gotta remember how to change that part that I'm showing right on the, where is that? Should be right here. There it is. So, any more? I'll wait. No more? Alright, we'll continue then. Because here in the intermission, of you making or not making excuses. So will you continue to make excuses? Only you are the one that decides. Are you going to let that light show? Or are you going to say no? Are you going to take the steps that you know you need to make for the success that with only effort will you take? Have an excuse why it is you could not watch that a second time? Remember, as it is, what are you putting in? Did you make an excuse? Why it is? Did you not? Did you expect such things in this spot? The intermission to your success is right now. Are you going to make an excuse for that to continue to be your reality right now? Are you not? Will you stop making excuses so you're in this intermission of your success? It's the in-between spot you happen to be. If it is, you make an excuse why such things cannot be. Why would you do such a thing? Will you not let the beauty of what it is that you could be not have an excuse of why it cannot be? Or will this be something, an excuse for all to see? You're the one that chooses which way you go. Which way will it be? Toward success, or for it not to be? If it is, you make an excuse. You're in the intermission because of that excuse. Will you continue to go back? Or will you be one that in the next situation, you will not go back? Will you make an excuse why it is you could not choose that? You're in the intermission for your next. You are the one that chooses if that continues. You're in a mission for your success. It will continue. If it is that you choose to make an excuse. What excuse will you make? You want to know something interesting? The spot where it started to lag is the exact spot, if you pay attention. Very close. To where if it is you watched the first time, it was stopped upon the first time. The lag towards your success. The intermission towards such things. Do you wish to continue by the excuses that you make about such things? Or will no longer will you make this? The only one that chooses is you, my friend. Will you stay in that state towards the next situation because you make that mistake? As far as your personal growth, as far as the effort you put in, is this something you're doing? Or is it not? I wonder. Can you make success by doing this? Or can you not? You're in a mission. This is what you're doing. There's a mountain right there in front of you. If you continue to make excuses, you will not make progress in what it is you're making excuses. Perseverance. Willing to deal with things unexpected. Gonna make excuses about things unexpected. Or will you do it face on? Push forward. Moving forward. Will it be more like this? Bob and weave where it is you need to go to get this? As the obstacle comes, will you make an excuse about that? Or will you do something more like this? Will you charge through? Regardless what it is that stands before you? Or will you make an excuse of why it is you will not do? Of course, This is entirely up to you. Or will you make an excuse? Do not forget, excuses sound best to the ones that are making it. Will you not? Pay attention to what it is that you put in. That way, you can show for what it is that's within. Or is that something that, for whatever reason, you refuse to do upon this season? Is there an excuse for that? There's only one way to conquer that. Change what it is that you're making excuses about. Otherwise, well, for that I think you already know. So, when will it be that the excuses go? Until next time, hopefully you don't make an excuse upon the next time.